What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, I am showing you how to paint Billy Cranston, aka the Blue Ranger, for the Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid board game. So stick around. Before we get started, if you're new to our channel and you'd like to see more content like this, start now by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. If you are new to the Power Rangers game, you haven't heard of it before, and you're interested in checking it out, I will leave a link in the cards up ahead for you to go check out my unboxing and overview video. But if you are looking to find out how I painted my Blue Ranger, you are in the right place. I am by no means an expert painter, but this will definitely get you started on a nice little how to paint this guy up. Before you get started, you'll definitely want to wash the miniature in warm water with a little bit of dish soap. And if there are any like flash marks or anything on it that you want to remove, you'll want to do that at this step as well. Once your model is dry, I painted mine with a flat white. I used Rust-Oleum's flat white. You can use any flat white of your choice, but that's what I recommend using for a primer. And then once you got that done, we'll head over to the table and we'll get started. Once your model is primed, it'll look like this. Make sure that you get a nice even coat of the primer. Then we're going to start with a base coat of Macragge Blue. Now I decided to use a dark blue like this because I want the recesses of the model to be nice and dark once we get to that step of the painting. So that's why I decided to go with this color. This will not be the end color that we'll end up using. We are going to use a lighter blue once we get towards the end. You want to make sure that you're hitting all of the blue parts. You want to get the legs, the arms, outside the diamonds on the chest and back, the helmet, and then inside the diamonds on the gloves and on the boots as well. When I was painting my model, the color was a little thinner than I thought it would be, so I had to go back and give it a second coat. But with this step, I was pretty sloppy. I didn't really take my time to make it super neat, because at later steps I'm going to go back and neaten everything up with the other colors that we're going to use. For the helmet, at first I was going to leave the visor and the mouthpiece white, but once I got closer to being done, I just decided to paint the whole thing blue, because again, we're going to go over all of these colors anyway and neaten all of this stuff up. So at this stage, it really doesn't matter if you are messy or not. You see here, I'm trying to hit the diamonds. I'm not being super perfect with it, but I just want to make sure that all of the diamond stuff is showing the blue color. And you also want to make sure you hit the handle of the staff and just below the blades of the staff as well with that blue color. Next, we're going to use lead belcher. This is for all the metal parts. That includes like the horns on the helmet, just above the visor, the mouthpiece, and the blades of the staff, like you can see me doing here. There's also some parts on the staff that you may want to paint silver if you want it to be screen accurate. I tried to get it as centered as I could, and in the end I thought it looked pretty good. Here's kind of the end result after we do the blue and the silver. So far it's looking pretty great. Next, we switch over to a black. I'm using Vallejo Model Color Black. You can use any black that you want. This is for the visor and for the morpher. You can see here I am being a little more careful, but again, if you screw up in this phase, it's really not that big of a deal because you are gonna re-go over most of these colors after we get done shading. Morpher was a little challenging to get to, but not terrible. And that's what it looks like after the first 3 colors. Next, we're going to switch over to Retributor Armor. This gold is not in a lot of places. You could use yellow instead. I just thought that the gold looked better. This is for the little circles just above the blades, and it's also for the power coin on the morpher. The last color of this step is Mephiston Red. We're using this to finish off the power morpher to make it look a little more screen accurate. And honestly, this is a good place to stop if you are happy with the model there, but I'm going to keep going with some shades. I'm going to cover the entire thing with Nuln Oil. I want to make sure that it gets in all of the cracks and recesses, because it's really going to help make all the colors pop out in the next step after this. So I cover the entire thing because, again, we're going to go over all of these colors anyway, and it does add a little bit of extra time, but I think the end result is really worth the effort. This is what it looks like once the wash dries. And we're going to start with highlighting and going over the colors with Altdorf Guard Blue. This is the final blue that we're going to use. And we're just going to basically go over all of the original blue, that McCrag blue, except we are skipping the recesses this time. So you see here, like, the little crack on the butt there. There's also cracks behind the knees. We're going to leave the color there and just go around it, basically. All the edge highlights and all of that stuff here on the weapon, in all of the diamonds, on the staff, the arms, the helmet, everywhere, basically. And this is the longest step of the process, but again, I think that the end result is really worth the effort here. So take your time, and you'll see how good that blue color looks once it's all done. Next, we're going back to Lead Belcher, and this is just reapplied on all the flat surfaces of the silver, leaving the darker color in the recesses. Make sure that you remember to hit the mouth of the helmet, the horns, the blade of the staff, and all of those silver bits. The last color in this process is the Althuan Gray. We're using this to highlight back up the white. White is a pretty hard color to paint, so you're going to want to be really careful. You're going to want to make sure that you thin your paints really well, because you don't want the paint to end up being too chalky. And you're just basically going over and re-highlighting all of the white places that got dark with the wash. Make sure that you remember the belt, because I forgot about the belt the first time. But here's the final product. It's pretty good in my opinion. It'll definitely do for the tabletop, and it was a lot of fun to paint. Hey guys, well that's it. Billy is painted and ready for the table. If you found this video helpful, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Really helps us out a lot. Let us know which figure you would like us to paint next by leaving a comment in the comment section down below, or let us know any video ideas you might have. If you have any videos you would like featured on our page, you can get in touch with us on one of our many social media platforms. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I'll see you in the next video.